Go live. So it's going live. Hey everyone, if we're live, hi. If we're not, disregard. Go live. So it's going live. So it's going live. Fair sign. Hi, sweetheart. So it looks like we're live. If anyone in the Bleak chat room wants to just give a quick comment, Jiminy. Hi, sweetheart. You want to? I'm just practicing on going live, so we're just quickly live. Do you want to come and say hi to everyone? Okay. Okay. Do you want to see? Is this showing you?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm here. Hey, everybody.
I see. I paused it over here.
Yeah. You click that live button right there.
Perfect. I hear you. High vibrations. I don't think there would be very many because there's no advance. There's no advance notice or anything. So high vibrations. I hear you. I am that I am.
Susan.
Where are we with Q and Trump? You're asking me? We have no inside information, but they said Israel would be saved for last. And I was just talking with Justin just a little while ago about this. What's left to reveal? What's left to reveal? I mean, if you go on the list of the most heinous things to wake people up, they're all out in play now. Hitler was a month ago. And then over the last 2 weeks, it's been Zionist Jews, fake Jews, fake Jews, fake Jews, fake Jews, like crazy. So, and Q said, Israel will be saved for last. So this is it. This is as I mean, you know, like in terms of the stuff that's darker, that's only the adrenochrome, frazzle drip, and all of that. They were releasing that a year ago. They were releasing that a year ago. So in terms of what else is there to release, they can continue to add detail and detail. Gimini. Oh, who's at our tarp? They can continue to add detail upon detail upon detail to Israel, to the fake Jews. But at some point, all that everyone is waiting on right now is something to drop. And they made it clear when on election night, when they did not allow us to have this incredible evening where Trump, you know, won in a massive landslide, and we all would have patted each other on the back, and it would have just been love, sweet love, the entire time. It wasn't. It was highway robbery. It was the train wreck, and it's been that since. And so Arizona had, trust me, it's been counted and counted and recounted and recounted. And you know, they've been going gangbusters in Pennsylvania and elsewhere. So it's just waiting for the right shoe to drop. And when the right shoe drops, I mean, it is, anyone can see this, is that when it drops, there's no stopping. They won't be able to stop the process. They won't be able to really manage the process once the first shoe drops. So it'll just be a series of bombshells, one after another after another. And what we've talked about, what we assume is that they'll try and balance this. And that's why Nassar Jassara has to be at the front end of this thing. That's why the economy crashing soon and the 10 days of darkness has to be a relatively soon event, because it's what comes after. It's what comes after that, which is that new system of fairness. And remember, for people like myself that have been deplatformed for like a year, well, I don't even know how long it's been now, but there's no place for us to go. The only things that I have are MeWe, and MeWe constantly suppresses the visibility of the things that I create. So on MeWe, we have about 10,000 friends, followers, whatever that would be on MeWe. And also on MeWe, we have a Freak Sense World, which is a private group. The Freak Sense World has about 45, I think 4,600 members in it. And it outproduces the Charlie Freak in terms of or responses 2-1. And yet the Charlie Freak platform on MeWe is twice the size, more than twice the size. So so we're suppressed everywhere. On Rumble, it's ridiculous how badly it's suppressed on Rumble. And we have an imposter. We have an imposter on Telegram. I didn't even create the Telegram account. Must be Pauline or someone else within the family created it, and because I don't use it. And so there's somebody on Telegram who, as soon as we create things, puts it up on a channel called Charlie Freak, and then is asking for donations via Bitcoin, which we've never accepted a penny in Bitcoin, because we were sort of read into it a long time ago. So so people are watching that stuff and paying somebody who just is stealing our content. And we've contacted Telegram thousand times, and they haven't done a thing. So there aren't any goodly godly platforms that are out there. And so there are no homes for Charlie right now. And Justin has great attitude with wandering toward truth, which is, they can shut it down whenever they want, kind of thing. I'm just going as far as I can with it.
Badge of honor when they do take it down.
Oh, and that's right. And Colleen and I will never ever forget that, because January 6th, we did the live show about everything that was going on and helping people through morning and afternoon, because that was the separation line of everything that's come since is the afternoon of January 7th, which was the transition for the 19th. And so on the morning of January 7th, or that, I think, maybe late night or in the morning, Trump got deplatformed, and within an hour, we were deplatformed, everything gone right after Trump. And that was actually even before a lot of very key people amongst the Q team. So for Colleen and I, that was a massive badge of honor that we were thought so highly of, or despised so greatly, that that they would consider us even close to the big guys. So
yeah, just for anyone curious about, we did have the 72 breaths scheduled today, but Wanda was having construction going on in her house.
I don't know what that's like.
So we're going to postpone to next week. Just for anyone curious on that. And as Susan mentioned, I do think that Marie is going to be interviewing Lonnie, or Lonnie's interviewing Marie at each point soon. But I'm not sure exactly the time. But yeah, going back to what Charlie's talking about, and people asking about the big reveal and everything going on. It's all event based, and there has to be that cascading sort of, once it starts, you can't stop it. But the ways that we can take ownership and take kind of responsibility of doing this and not just waiting for it is truly stepping in and doing the work yourself. Because the ripple effect of the more that we clean our consciousness, the more that we do the work internally, it spills outward. And so if we want to get through this transition a little bit smoother, if we want to have this sort of if we want to see the Great Awakening happen in a more timely manner, and we want it to happen in a more, just a smoother fashion, then it's really important to remember that we have to take responsibility and have to say, hey, what am I doing today? What am I doing to better myself? How am I improving my health? How am I improving my relationships around me? How am I embodying Jesus Christ or Mary Magdalene? And these are the kind of things that we need to be considering strongly and not just writing off as like, oh, I'm just going to wait for something to happen outside of myself. Is the more that we decide to take this attitude of waiting, the more that we're signifying to God that we're not quite ready for this and that we're going to need a little bit more painful reminders in order to get to that space where we are ready for it. So the whole point of the transition is about taking ownership. It's about stepping into who we are and what we came here to do. So the more that we can do that on a regular basis in everything that we do, just makes everything happen a lot faster and more smoothly. So just remember that.
So beautifully said, so perfectly said. Yeah, and it is so true. I think the Q team. I think that they run scenarios constantly, and that's why they're saying, at this point, stop trying to decode anything to do with when all of this is going to drop, because they don't know. They don't know. They're waiting for the signs, and the signs ultimately have to come from us. That's right. And you're right. And it's a total vibration thing. Some really good indicators, though. I did a post last week on MeWe about the Schumann resonance of Mother Earth just last week, and it shot up significantly in its resonance. And there was so much magnetic white light in what was playing out with her resonance. That's a very good sign. That's a very good sign that there is a rising energy across this earth, and that she can feel, and that she is sending upwards. So this is really good news. And again, Israel was always left for last. Like I said to you before, adrenochrome was a year ago when they were releasing the horrors of all of this. So in terms of the things that just confuse people the most, I mean, Adolf Hitler, World War II, Eisenhower, bad guy, Churchill, one of the worst people ever, Hitler, one of the greatest people ever. This is mind-blowing stuff, and very, very difficult for the average person to process. And then on top of that, now you're being told that everything that Hitler told you from the people that you kind of have looked to for truth through this process, which are mainstream media connections to Q. They're now reiterating everything that Adolf Hitler said and did. So this is huge stuff, and you're being told that the world has been run for a long time, but in particular the last 100 years, by a group of fake, phony people who call themselves Zionist Jews. They're not. They have nothing to do with the true definition of what a Jew is, and that is in the spirit of God, not in the letter. And as Justin and I teach you constantly, and Justin just said, you got to this is the time to do the work. Why is that the greatest advice ever? Because this is what we've decoded for you from the pages of the New Testament of the Bible itself. And what it's teaching us is that the Bible is worthless unless we do the work. When you do the work, you resonate dead words and dead letters on dead pages into life. You bring it to life. And one of the greatest things that I learned was from a gentleman named Bill Donahue. And I've mentioned Bill so many times, and I love Bill so much. I just wish he would have stayed away from NASA, but so I love Bill so much. And what Bill was talking about was this this truth about the Word of God is made flesh when we do the work. And like Bill said, with the Bible, it really should be called, to make it simple so that you just at a glance, you know what it is, enter your name here. And every single character, and I mean every single one past 1-1 is it, that's right. And it is you. And so you play all these roles in your life at different times. You play these roles. So Noah in the ark, the Ark of the Covenant is here in Solomon's temple. And this is the ark, which is the third ventricle of your brain. And when he was in the ark for 40 days and 40 nights, there was only one window. This is so symbolic, but there was only one window in the ark, and that was straight above, so that all they could do was look up to the heavens for 40 days and 40 nights, which is a parable. That in and of itself is a story that is then fleshed out into the story of Noah's Ark and two of every kind, because this is rebirth, regeneration, this is re-life. And then where did the ark? And everybody's found the ark. It's in Turkey, and no, it's in China. Everybody's now found. There's a piece of wood. We did a test on it. Well, we did. You know, the technology is very sophisticated. We have it. Trust us. We got it. We got the wood. We can't show it to you. It's very old. It would, you know. But everyone's got a piece of the ark somewhere. But anyways, the biblical story about the ark is that, of course, it was way up and to the right in the mountains when the storm ended. And Noah and his sons were there to repopulate, regenerate on the earth. And it's the same story as Abraham and Sarah with Isaac. It's the same story with Jacob and the 12 tribes of Israel. And it's the same story because it's the same parable all the way through. And it's a gorgeous parable. So Bill Donahue, do the work. You make the Bible the greatest book ever that it is when you bring it to life, and that's doing the work.
When even the sort of darker characters within the Bible, it's still you.
Yeah.
It's your ego. It's your ego personified. So it's this epic saga of your right brain versus your left brain, and which one are you going to go with? Here's what happens if you go with your left brain. You bring on plagues, you bring on all of these sorts of things, and it's a miserable time. It's not a fun experience, but it's laid out plainly in front of us. But it's always a choice. We always have free will. Or you can go with your right brain. You can follow the path that Jesus laid and experience that salvation and regeneration and all the good things. But it's all a choice. It's always a choice. And so when they teach us that it's this literal story, that's just a historical book, it takes away any sort of responsibility of you taking that book and integrating it. And it just makes you revere it as this, far off, distant thing, or God is this distant person that, you can kind of contact every now and again, and he might listen to you. And instead of that, God is your best friend and always connected to you, and God is constantly asking us to pay attention to this handbook, one of many handbooks that he's left for us to follow. We pick and choose, it doesn't matter, but it's all telling the same story for us to just embody and walk. And then we get to experience all the goodness. We get to come here, and we chose to experience physical, so we get to experience the physical with all of the benefits of being connected to the Father, so mother and father reunited in that holy matrimony with us as the child. And that's it, the whole story. And and if we choose to ignore it, then we suffer the consequences. And it's not that God is judging us. It's just that the system is so perfectly balanced to maintain itself so that it's always perfectly expanding and creation. Because if this sort of self-serving, self-interest, left brain ideology was allowed to proliferate and continue, it would eventually just consume itself. It would eventually just devour itself, and creation would just be destroyed. So the whole point of everything, that's the way it's set up, and the whole reason that these God's laws and these confines are set up in this sort of way, is to preserve the creation, so that it never gets to that point where this left brain ideology is allowed to just consume us and consume ourselves. So it's not, nothing is punishing us. Nothing is keeping us here. It's just this beautifully balanced system that's only design is to just creatively expand as much as possible. And that's all we're doing, is we're just stepping into our true selves, and then allowing our creative essence to just continue to expand this beautiful consciousness play that we're all playing a part in. Yeah, amazing. amazing when you see it this way. And yeah, fun, fun game to play for sure.
Yeah, and it's a harrowing game to play at times too, because Justin, that was beautiful. Again, by the way, just absolutely perfect. And what Justin was teaching, I think on the last show of Book of Revelation, on the Bible Decode, and Justin was just talking about that. That this is the experience of this is all so real, and we bring it all into existence. And so the things that end up occurring, there's infinite possibilities of what can happen, but we collapse the wave function so much and into so few people, and that's why so few people play such huge roles in our life, because you don't really have much of a life. You don't know a lot of people. You don't get out. You don't travel the earth and connect to who your true soulmates truly are. So then this is why God is so limited in allowing your free will to play itself out. And that's why certain people play so many key roles. So in one moment they're a savior to you, the next they're a friend, the next they betray you, because you limit because you're limiting God's options in this sort of free will exchange that is created through the ether. And that works for the gifts of God too. We limit him so much because we just dismiss that magic is real, that's possible, that a Mercedes Benz could just pop up in front of you, because that can't happen. So then it can't happen. Whatever you hold as a belief, they're lies, but they're rings. They're the ring of Sauron, and they wrap around you, and they control you. And that's what your beliefs do. And that's why knowing is the way, is the answer, is everything. Because when you know better, you'll do better. And when you know, then we are not facts, figures, and logic left brain. We are lore, legend, and magic of the right brain. Magic, the magi, there's magnetism, which is the Mother Mary, which is 13 of 26, which is the middle way, which is movement, which is the scalar wave, and that's life. God is the God of the living, not of the dead. So that's so well said, Justin. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we're just constantly casting spells, whether we're conscious or unconscious of them. So we can be a left brain loose cannon that can be easily hijacked. That's when we're driven into fear. And that's where the cabal loves to steer people, because they're easily to grab hold on and steer in whatever direction they want to. But by our beliefs, even though they're wrong, we're still casting spells on ourselves and casting spells on other people. But when we're conscious of our intent, when we're conscious of where we are, then we can direct that conscious intent into white magic and not be casting black magic spells. And it's just a flip of the switch of, where are you aligned, and how are you paying attention? Are you present, or are you allowing someone else to steer you? Because we're just these projectors. We're projectors of consciousness, and we're constantly just creating this whole reality around us all the time. And if we're not consciously doing so, then someone else is going to be able to hijack us and do it for us. And so it's just really a decision of, are you paying attention? Are you present? Or are you going to be a victim and let someone else just do it for you? Yours.
Brilliant. And look how clever they are. So when they force fed the spiritual community with an answer, another spiritual answer that bordered on a religious answer, which was quantum physics. You see how clever they are, because they take the true essence of this creation. So Justin was saying, really, we're projectors, and we project out whatever we hold to be true inside of us. And even if you have no truth, then the next thing that it goes to are your lies, which you hold as truth. So it's whatever you be live F in the physical form, be life is whatever your reality becomes. And so they're so clever about this, and quantum physics led people to go, sort of with it, and then at the dead end, and it goes nowhere. And the top quantum physicists all said the same thing, which is that really at this point, most of this is a great unknown, and we've taken you as far as we can to this, two-dimensional thin veneer upon what appears to be a three-dimensional physical reality. But at this point, you go any further, you know, you would need some guru or shaman to come forward, and then they provided some of those people for you. Some, and one of them in the form of Jordan Peterson, that just came out of nowhere, and then he just knows every smartest guy in the world because he knows everything. But virtually none of it is the truth, and all of it leads you to a cul-de-sac that goes nowhere. And you go around and around and around and around and around. That's what they want you doing, is going around the great wheel of the samsara, never ever once realizing that there's a door to the right, the moksha, and you can get out anytime you want. All you have to do is trigger this is it. This is the starter of all life, the pineal gland. And the pineal gland you can't get to without a key, and the key is meditation. And you can't meditate. I mean, you all know this because you have been responding to my videos for 2 and 3 years with questions and all the things I've been sharing about meditation. I can't meditate. And, you know, exactly. So then that's why we went deeper and deeper and deeper for you. And it starts with the food. It starts with the food. This is, and V, who is Le Français, V was saying that the origins of orange in French is exactly what I hypothesized. I didn't know it to be, so I just knew it inside that, and I said, I promise you, guarantee you that orange, the original is or angle. Of course it is, because it's the golden angel. Orange juice is the golden angel or angle. And V was saying in French, the origins of orange is orange.
I love the word on this jar too that you told me about last a little bit of extra steps into that for angel and what it can do to us. It's the foundation, and it is the building block. It's what we have to start with, and we have to go from there.
Wow. Yeah, and really quickly, quick side note, but again, you know, the builder of the Freemason temples is credited to Hiram Abiff. Never existed. It's an allegory, and Hiram Abiff is high ram above, and that's the Christed energy within you. So you need to take that carpenter tecton. You need to take that carpenter within you and raise him up to Solomon's temple, right? That's the origin of the story. Is, you know, and Solomon's temple reached out to Hiram Abiff, who was this incredible, gifted engineer, architect and engineer, and he just built Solomon's temple. It's fantastic, and it was in silence. And anyway, so the story of the Freemasons is, of course, that Hiram Abiff. So the carpenter within you, you raise him up, and then, you know, in silence he built. And remember, again, this cannot be understated. What got Christ killed in Jerusalem when he went into the temple of the money changers, out their temple, tore it to shreds, and said, this is an abomination, and I will build a righteous temple in 3 days. Oh, really? This took us 74 years. 74 years to build. And what did you just say? Can you repeat that again? Because we're going to record it this time. And then that's what they used to put Christ to death, was saying that as I tear down your temple, I will replace it with a righteous one in just 3 days and 3 nights, which is the miracle of 72 breaths. And that's why we took all of this down to you to this core level. So once again, it starts by saying the truth. So you are a frugivore. So yeah, how do you fight that? How do you resist that? You are 100% inside and out. Everything about you, the way you're made, is a frugivore. So you either accept the truth or you live in hell. Because that's what hell is just resisting the truth. And so when you accept the truth and you begin to drink the golden angel are angles of light. It's all orange. Look at it. That's what orange juice is. It's just these perfect golden rays of light. When you drink that, then it's transforming you inside, transmutating the rivers, the 4 rivers inside of you, and then you're raising yourself. So that means you're getting closer to Aries, which is a man arising. And then it's breathing. And then I did that video about on People Radio was episode number 12. Brain waves determine our reality, and they do. And what determines your brain waves? Your breathing. And then I introduced diaphragmatic breathing and the Buddha breath and how to Buddha breathe. And then these are the tiny little steps that lead you to Solomon's temple, that get you past Atlas and into the Mason temple. And every time you hear a Mason temple, they're just referring to Solomon's temple. That's here. That's here. It's not out there. That's not out there. They create the physical temples out there to make you think that that's the way. That's how they get people like Matt Groening from The Simpsons to throw away his divinity as a child of God into eternal hell as a Satanist, because they offered him secrets. But you have to get to the 33rd level, the throat chakra, but it goes nowhere for them because they're not willing to take the leap of faith. So it's a gorgeous story, but the building blocks are so simple. And that's why we go over them again and again on every show for you. It's what you eat. It is the breaths that you take, which therefore determine your brain waves. Remember, 6 of them, 5 are phenomenal. Just that beta. Beta is just ping, 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 up and down, crazy fast, erratic. And you don't want that. You don't want that. Stop playing the game. I know, but everything costs money. But just trust. So there's a couple of questions in here, and Justin might want to speak to this. If he doesn't, that's totally okay. But there's a couple of questions that are in this chat and then other chats. And they're questions relating to sort of Josh and Santos. And Santos is, I'm just trying to find where this one was, because Santos is talking about recommending people purchase these engaged Reiki. Yeah, do you recommend the life wave patches that Santos endorses? And I think I speak for Justin in this, but our position basically is that, whatever gets you through the night, if you believe, but ultimately it just needs to be you. And we've given you how to do this for free. So you don't ever need to spend money. So sometimes, like I love Josh so much, and I love Santos so much, and respect them both so much. But sometimes I just wonder where they're coming from with the money stuff, because it just totally isn't necessary. Because all the money that you ever need in this world, all the money that ever exists, it all comes out of the ether. So if you're the master of the ether by going within, and connecting to God, then God has complete gnosis of what you are and what you need in every single moment. So you don't need to pray. You don't need to ask. You don't need to raise funds, whatever. The miracle just constantly happens. And that's how Colleen and I try and live our lives, which is not ever thinking about the harsh consequences of will we have enough or won't we have enough. Whatever the hand that is dealt is, we play with that hand. And then what we just have learned over time is that you create, like Justin was saying, you create that hand based on the vibrations, the energy, the frequency that you create, because that's essentially what you are. You're a radio station, and you're either AM or FM. And it's entirely up to us where we tune into our frequency. And another great Bill Donahue thing really quickly is this. Bill Donahue, like he said, God is on channel 9. And if you keep watching channel 2, expecting to see God, and you start throwing things at the TV and you get up the odd time and you smack it because it's never giving you God, that's on you. You only tuned into channel 2. God's on channel 9. It's a frequency, 144. 144,000 is that frequency, because 1 + 4 + 4 is 9. So it's a choice. And so in terms of buying this or that, if it makes you feel good and you believe in it, like Coach Kathy bought the tachyon rods. Tachyon energy is very, very real. And if these rods help to draw up the tachyon energy from the ground, which is magnetically charged, then that's a great thing. That's an absolutely great thing. And already Coach Kathy has posted that that she's having wonderful results from the tachyon rods. So if that's what you feel you need, then by all means, you have my permission to do that. All I'm saying is that you don't need to do that. You are a scalar wave. You are the double sine wave, which is the torus field. You are a torus field. And all you ever need to do is feel your auric gold, auric field, AUR rising, that I see. So that is the gold rising that I see. So you're a rainbow. And when you take this stuff seriously and do the work, you don't need to buy anything. And you know, ultimately in the future, there are no books and records, because it'll all be playing inside of you. It all comes out inside of you. And so there was another great question just earlier, which is also from Engaged Reiki. And the question was about the Tartarians and what do we think about the Tartarian teleportation technology. Let me be so clear about this. That's just here and here. That's your 6th and 7th chakra. This is intuition. This is telepathy. So if you want to teleport to anyone else how they did it, and just look at all of the Tartarian architecture and the shapes, because the shapes are frequencies, right? So you have to think beyond a physical shape, and that shape is a frequency. And it's a magnetic frequency. So when you cross the fiction and you get out of the throat chakra, you know, you get out of their false temple of worship and you get up here, then this is where all the magic happens. Because when you live in your 6th and 7th chakras, this is the intuition and telepathy. And this is teleportation. And that's what the pyramids were as well. Not just energy, but signals and frequencies that are being projected on the grid that is the Mother Earth. So I want to pass it over to Justin. That was a fair amount of stuff, and you don't have to feel obligated to comment on all of it. So
yeah, no, I don't mind. You know, it's important to remember that there are helpful tools to help us recalibrate and get back onto, you know, what we need. But it is really beautiful to remember that everything that we need is truly free. I mean, the fruit. It's absolute insanity that we pay for this stuff. It's absolute insanity that this is not just stuff that we can have for free, and we should get to that point. So that's given to us for free. The breath, it's free. You know, sitting in that stillness and silence, that's free. So all of these solutions, they don't require any money. They just require us to essentially get out of our own way, to allow God to flow within us, and to stop adding these layers of resistance between us and God. So the more that we can focus on that, then we don't need any of these other things to help us get to that state. And all of this technology, you know, I think there's a lot of beautiful stuff that is coming out and will continue to come out, but it's all based on us. It's all built off our physiology. We are the greatest piece of technology out there. And so everything that's modeled and created is just based on us and based on us to sort of try and replicate, but it's never quite as good. And so when we truly take ownership of how powerful we are and how much we can step into that, then we're limitless. And so that's really important to remember. And, you know, I would just, going back to the food, if anyone needs any extra motivation or inspiration, I just started a juice feast today that I'm going to be doing until the solstice. And I try and do that every solstice and equinox. I like to have a little time of purity. And so I chose to start today on the new moon, and I'm going to continue that until the full moon, which is the 24th. So that'll get me through the solstice as well. So that's, you know, and it's powerful moons as well, because I think we had the eclipse today, and then we've got the supermoon on the 24th.
Yeah.
So if anyone's looking for a time of extra purity, it doesn't have to be juice. You know, if you just wanted to say, you know, maybe I want to just be on fruit for these 2 weeks, or maybe I want to have every morning, every rising, my rising break fast is juice. Whatever sort of incremental step that you want to kind of incorporate to help add a little bit extra layer of cleanliness as we go into the solstice, is just going to allow that, extra bit of cosmic energy that's coming through as this galactic clock shifts, as it always is shifting, to kind of help that fizzle in a little bit more clear and allow those messages from God to come in a little bit clearer. So if anyone's looking for some extra someone else to do it with, you're more than welcome to join me in that. So that's what I'll be doing. And there was one other question about diabetes and fruit and what to do with that. So we've spoken with this a bunch, and there's just so many misconceptions about diabetes in general, and they've tried to lump sugar from this processed crap that is poison, and they compare it to the same stuff that's in fruit, which is absolutely not the case whatsoever. They're completely different things. So you can 100% cure diabetes with fruit. You can cure anything with fruit. It is the one-stop solution to everything. Now with diabetes, you might have to be a little careful with as far as like jumping into things, because you do have to pay attention to where your body goes, but it's absolutely something that you can remedy with the fruit. And so don't be afraid of trying this sort of thing, just because you've been told by organized society that you have to avoid this sort of stuff. They lie about everything. They lie about that too. So that is just another lie to keep you in this box, to keep you on insulin, to keep you having to go to the doctor, to keep you sick. We can truly heal everything with the fruit. So don't hesitate to try it.
And again, brilliant and perfect. And let me take it to the core, or to the root. There are no problems in this world. There's only the perception that problems exist. And those always occur when you get dragged out of your temple and you're drawn into the out there world. And other people are filled with problems in their life because they're filled with be lives. So everything to them is a lie, and their world is upside down because it's the opposite of lies, the opposite of the truth. So an opposite is upside down to God's reality. So the perception of problems is rife with everybody else. So this is such a key question that should be asked more, which is, like what's our purpose in life? Like, what am I here for? And so if you think that you're here to marry the first girl that comes along and quickly have children, and then work your fingers to the bone until you can afford to retire, which, by the way, that was never past a certain point in the late 60s. That was never going to happen again for anybody. You're just, thank God for Walmart, because I can greet people to 110. Thank you for that. Maybe buy some silver on the side or something with that extra money, maybe a tip. So you're here. You're not here to play that ridiculous game, and that might hurt some people, because so many people have built themselves on that reality that they've projected for you, right? If you're not the movie projector, then they are, and then you just accept the movies and the realities that they tell you are real. So that's what they're telling you. You quickly get married, you quickly have kids, you go to work for the whole rest of your life, and then you take your families on vacation. You all secretly hate one another because you hate yourselves, because you're living lies. Your entire life is a lie. And so at the root or core to all of this is this differential between in there and out there. And all the Bible teaches is that the reality, the truth, everything is within you, not out of you. So this is why the last thing we should be doing is rushing into intense relationships. We need friendships. You are mankind, and that's the truth. That's our name. That we are mankind, man and woman, and we are kind. So you need friends. That's what this is all about. But how many friends in their model do you ever create? In fact, when you rush off without knowing yourself or your partner, and you get married and have kids young, you lose the friendship. You lose whatever friendship you had with your spouse early on in that relationship, and you just hate each other. So you don't even have friendship within your own family. Kids hate you, and you grow to hate the kids, and it's just horrific. And that's all because you rush out of the temple and you think that that's real and this is just all nonsense. Or if it is real, it's beyond you. So the truth is that all that exists is within you, because who's within you? God, the Mother Mary, Christ Jesus, Santa Claus, and yourself. Yourself is an amalgam, which is Mercury, by the way. Mercury, amalgam, the messenger. That's if you want to know the key to the Tartarian peaks, what do they call them? The turrets, all that architecture. And then they came up to a point, and then everything was transmitted and transmutated through those rods that came up out of those turrets. The secret in there was Mercury, because Mercury as an element is, and just do all of the allegorical representations of Mercury within the zodiac as well. Mercury is the messenger, so it transmits messages. And so Mercury was the key for this 6 and 7 chakra, 6 and 7 cent transmutation of thought instantaneously to anyone else who's on the frequency. So it's a ham radio. Hey, good buddy. Oh, breaker. This is Goodly Godly 47. This is Goodly Godly 47. Anybody out there, come on in. and then those who are on that same frequency, they go, got you, good buddy. And that's exactly how it works. But, they make you buy a ham radio and do it in the physical, and that person's, they've got hemorrhoids or something, and it's, it's a negative conversation. So everything is just upside down. They're lying to you about everything. And it's a core, it's a root thing, and it's the world that's in. So this rushing off to go and get married and go and that's not what you're here for. The Bible, when it talks about thought, when it talks about children and the firstborn and things like, it's not talking about children. It's an allegory for your thoughts. And the firstborn thoughts are, and they're typically within the Bible known as the male children, is because thought originates out of your left brain, which is the masculine, which is the ego. And then you're in a whole world of pain and suffering, because that's the dualistic reality of where we fell out of singularity from the Father. Because all that existed before was the magnetic field, which is what the right hemisphere of the brain is, the field, a resonance field. The left brain, the dime, is what was created with the fall as an ability for us to have a choice in every single moment of what we want to be. And when you take thought for yourself, it's always coming out of your left brain. When you take no thought for your life, as Jesus Christ spent his entire life teaching, take no thought for your life. You have to have thought. But if you don't take it, then there's only one other place it can come from. Up and to the right, him. He. And then all you do is you count sheep for the rest of your life, which is the purity, the beauty of thoughts from God. So your job is to go within you, not without you. And that's why Jesus says in the Bible to leave home early, young, skin your knees, so that you'll get to the point where this isn't working. Like everything I try, and I feel like I'm a good person, but everything I try, it just turns wrong. Because you're trying to do this. Why would you try to? We live on the valley floor. We have no perspective. We can't see a thing over the next rise. It's all a block to us if we don't rise. And so when you cast thy net to the right, means that when you let God do everything for you, which is the thought process, then all you have to do is enjoy the benefits of God's thoughts. And so do you think he really gives you trouble and problems and difficult passages and journeys that you have to travel through, and then you go, thanks God for doing? He doesn't do any of that. He just gives you the only thing that he knows, which is eternal peaceful abundance. balance between himself and the mother. And that's all that you need to achieve. That's all you need to do, but it's all within you. So when you rush out to get married and have kids, you're the Capricorn. And that's the significance of Capricorn at 6 o'clock. Because the bell tolls at 12, and at 6 o'clock, you got a decision to make. Are you going to feed off of the Capricorn? Capri is goat. Goat is wild. Left brain, ego. That's what it means. Sheep, right brain, no ego. Left brain, Capricorn, Capri, goat. So you have a choice to make every December, which is to go deeply within yourself, which is the natural inclination, right? It's so dark anyways all the time. It's just naturally telling you to go within yourself. And it's so cold, warm yourself up inside of you. You know, get the fire going. All these allegories about winter time, get the fire going hot. And then, you know, bundle up and go within. That's what's being said. And if you do the miracle of 3 days and 3 nights to 72 hours, 3 days and 3 nights, then this is the miracle that occurs, and you'll be preparing yourself to arise anew upon the spring equinox, and you rise to heaven. So it's always a choice, and everything they do pulls you back out again. Every time I think I'm done with these people, they pull me back into their world, which is out from our world. And that just adding on to what Justin said, that's everything. Everything is you staying within your temple. So like, you think it's a joke when I say to you that you shouldn't start dating until 333. I mean it. I know it sounds funny. I know it sounds like a joke, but I mean it. Justin is coming to know this for a fact. I know he just feels, you know that you're gifted 1,000 years when you're born, because it's not even it's barely scratching enough time to do all the things that you need to do. At the minimum is 1,000 years. But if you toxify yourself by going out there 24/7, 365, then you are literally acidifying the alkalinity of Christ. Christ is the shepherd within you. You have 4 rivers within you. And if you turn them into acidic structures, then it's Cleveland back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, with the river just boiling with smoke like an evil magic potion. It was so polluted. There was so much pollutants. That's inside of you. So you have to get the money. See, it's all enough. Get the money lenders, left brain ego, get the money lenders out of the temple and rebuild the temple in 3 days and 3 nights. And then you die upon the cross to be resurrected eternally at the right-hand side of the Father in heaven. You see, it's all an allegory for you. And if you don't become Justin Carpenter, that's on you. That's on you to choose not to be more than you can be, because you can do more than he. Our Lord and Savior said, don't ask me, ask him, and you will do greater things than I. That'll get you thrown out of a church. But he said it. It's in the Bible. But that'll get you thrown out of a church. Wrap your mind around that one. You think 50, 58 and a heart attack is pretty good? Had some good laughs. This is pretty good. It's pretty good. Come on. Why is a mango called a mango? Because it's go man. And how do you get a mango? You have to climb towards heaven. You have to reach up towards heaven to get the mango. Think about it. Like we talked about, and I'm just going to pass it back over to Justin, but like we talked about, have you ever hunted an animal? Have you ever stalked an animal? Have you ever shot an animal? Have you ever had to cut an animal into bits and pieces to be able to get that little steak, part of that steak that you like or something? No, because you would never do that. But you allow others, you pay others to do that for you. And then you won't watch the documentary Earthlings. That's why God created karma, not to punish you, to reward you. And every single moment, when you make that bad decision and you get that horrific pain that comes to you, that's a gift to say, I got to do better.
Yeah, I mean, it's all to just recalibrate us, you know, to put us back onto that path. It's that starts out as a gentle nudge. It's just a little bit of a gentle push. That's all the karmic debt that we accrue. It's just a gentle push. Hey, you're kind of steering off the path. Like, come on, come back onto it. And then it just gets a little bit more intense, a little bit more intense, a little bit more intense. But depending on how stubborn we are, that's how much karma we have to feel the effects of in order to get back onto that path. But you know, going back to this sort of split decision that we have within this game, you know, there's really two choices, and there's life or death. And the death choice, which is the one that we've been unwitting players within, is what the cabal's aim is, which is to keep us into this toxic state so that we never reach this level of awareness and knowingness, so that we never escape the wheel of karma, so that we stay as these perfect slaves that they can constantly subject and keep into this hierarchy of perfect separation. You know, there's two choices, separation or unity. Whereas the opposite choice, the right hand path, the one that we've been lied to about and kept away from for forever, is this path that Jesus taught, the way, the true way, the true path. And when we step into this, then it's completely limitless as far as how far we can grow. And that's why Jesus said, you will do greater things than I, because as soon as we start walking this path, we only help each other, and we just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So we just, each generation that comes along, it's just adding more and more to these layers and just unlocking more of our creative essence, unlocking more of our abilities, unlocking more of this, our just willingness to explore this reality around us and get to step into it in this harmonious fashion. And we get to keep playing that game as long as we want to, until we come all the way back to that unification. We come all the way back to that singularity. And that's when we've said, okay, I'm tired of this game. I've learned all that I can. But until then, we get infinite amount of time to play. And so making that choice of saying, you know what, I don't want to play this left-hand game anymore. I've been unconsciously playing it. I've been being that slave victim mentality. I've been providing them the opportunity to be that pawn to keep that way of the game going. I don't want to play that anymore. Let's go the other path. Let's turn this ship around. Let's go the other direction. And then it just keeps getting better and better and better. There's no limit to it. So you know, I'm all in for that, and I think everyone else is too. We just haven't. Some of us haven't quite gotten there, and we have to truly remember that in order to go that way, we have to take responsibility, and we have to choose every single moment, and not be waiting on some external savior, not be waiting on someone else to do it for you, not be waiting on Charlie Preet to do it for you. He can't. He can tell you all day long, but if you just let his words be projected in this video, they're just dead words in a video. If you don't embody them, they don't mean anything.
It's exactly right.
They mean nothing.
Yeah.
So we have to own this. We have to wear it. We have to pick it up every single day. We have to acknowledge that every day that I wake up, my ego wakes up with me. And I have to go through this process once again. And every time that I grow in awareness, every time that I rise, my ego rises with me. I have to acknowledge that it is a worthy adversary every single step of the process. And it's intentional to be that way. It provides that challenge so that we are always growing, so that we never stagnate, so that we never get to this space of complacency. We always have something that's pushing us, nudging us along. And it's not something we have to fear, but it's something we just have to you know, be aware of and take that responsibility and say, you know what, today's going to be a great day. I'm going to be grateful that I get another chance to be here, and I'm going to be present, and I'm going to acknowledge that my ego exists, and it's not going to rule the day. Not today, Satan. Get behind me, Satan. You know, and just keep saying that, and yeah, bring the magic the magic begins, and that's where we go.
And let me add to what Justin said, referencing the America song, the jawbone of an ass, get behind me, Satan. Does it take the children to make you understand? And that's where we're at. So, for some of us, no, but for many, yes. And that's where we're at. And that's why everything that has happened because God has tried every other thing that he can or can think of. And that's how by the way, that's how the Bible is so old. 2000 years? Are you kidding me? That's a blink of the eye to this creation. This creation is very, very old. How old? I have no idea, but it's very ancient. And the Bible tells you that in all of its passages. It constantly hints at this foreverness and that it is a very, very old tale. And so this journey, the journey that we find ourselves on, is rooted right back to the first 6 days of creation. Everything that God ever did and created was in the first 6 days. So he worked his tail off forever. How long a day is to God? 1,000 years? Forever how long that is. In 6 days, God created everything. That means he created you in the first 6 days, because there's nothing new under the sun. There's absolutely nothing new under the sun. Why? Because everything is about DE or RE, and you have a choice. So every time that you choose RE, then that's rejuvenating that eternalness that is you. So we are millions and millions and millions of years old because we were here in the first 6 days. I'm going to have so much fun with the gang doing Genesis, because it's an amazing, it's the playbook, it's the reference manual for all of this, and it tells you, it shows you. So there was awareness, and then there was a desire to be more, and then to create more came the structure of the more, and then came the children to populate the structure of the more, and then came the connection and the interaction. And it took a talking snake to draw us out of the perfection in the eastern garden of the Garden of Eden. We are stardust. We've got to get ourselves back to the garden, Joni said. That's singularity on the other side of the ether. Why are stars absolutely, as Santos teaches, why are they absolutely openings within the firmament? Because God has to show us and entice us in every single moment to see what awaits us. The sun is a portal. The moon is a portal. The stars are portals. But you have to rise up to them. Have you ever seen them descend down to you? Just upon the level. But then they're far away from you. But on the level, there's so much truth that comes from the sun when it's upon the level. It's incredible, but it's far away from you. So it's always, you've got a journey to go on, right? It's what the sun and the moon and the stars are showing you. You have to do this. You have to do the work. You have to go on this journey. And then you can transmutate yourself through the portals. And one of the ways is through the stars, because the stars are holes in the firmament. So how do you go? Well, you have to rise. That's what the Bible is all about, is rising. Everything about the Jesus Christ story is about RE, which is this regeneration, because there's nothing new under the sun. You were here from the first 6 days. God rested on the seventh day. He has never stopped resting. And the seventh day is still today. Get it? There's no more. There's no more. There's 7 days. And we are in the 7. That's why Trump, everything about Trump is 777. The first day of his presidency, when he took office in the White House, 777 days.
Just coincidence.
So that's how you know it's God's plan. That's how you know Trump comes from this higher calling. And that's why we're all being called 1111, 1111. Why does everybody get this 1111 and asking for, for myself to decode that? And because it's the temples. 11 hey are the temples, right? And again, like really quickly with Gene Roddenberry in Star Trek, when he created Captain Kirk, K-I-R-K, K11, and K at the beginning and the back of the name, K is 1111. And then inside is IR, which in Latin, root-based language, Latin is to go. So what is the catch line for Star Trek? To boldly go, which is what Jesus teaches, is that you need to do all of your actions boldly. Be bold where you walk, because you walk with God. So be bold in your actions. So to be bold is to be goodly and godly, because you know you're on the right side of things. Shani has her first court case today with the situation with the divorce, and the only advice I gave was know that you're on the right side of this, and then relax. You have nothing else to worry about. God's the greatest lawyer ever, because he's the creator. So he'll get you the verdict that you're looking for. And maybe it's not in this round. Maybe it needs to come in there. I don't know. But there's no worry. If you're in alignment, that's a bridge, right? See, when you're in alignment, that's taking the ego left brain and you create a bridge over troubled water. That's a bridge over troubled water, because your unity consciousness, you're unifying, as Justin said, two worlds into one. Because every day you rise, the left brain rises with you. So it's not your enemy, it's your friend that's constantly portraying itself as an enemy. And it's up to you. So there's no aliens. There's no aliens, and the aliens are not coming, because it's up to us. The alien is the left brain. Get it? It's an allegory. Aliens are your left brain. And we have to fix and solve our own problems. The fixer and the solver is out of the right brain, which is where God is, which is where Christ takes us to. That's where Christ consciousness transmutates through the pineal gland to God consciousness, which is the elixir of life. And that's this allegory. So unity consciousness is casting thy net to the right and reaching out in friendship with the ego. And that's the bridge over troubled waters. And there are no more troubled waters, because you've created the bridge. Look at the strands. You ever looked at how your skull is created, which is the firmament, the dome, the dominion, the dura mater, the arachnid, and then the tibia mater. So the father, the spider's web, and the soft mother. And inside of that are the two hemispheres of the tree of life. You are the tree of life, and your trunk is your spine, and it flowers through the two hemispheres of your brain, left and right. And you choose. You choose. Do you go left or do you go right? Or nobody ever talks about that. 3, which is the embodiment of the mother, because she creates the home, family. Or instead of left brain, right brain, and I'm on the right, and I'm so much better than you, and violet light turns to violet light, you reach that hand over to the left brain. You say, "Come on, brother, let's heal this once and for all, and let's become one." And that's that bridge over troubled water. That's why the brain is structured and created the way it is, because it's showing you to take these fibers and you need to make them one, interlocking weave the web. And that's why the internet is the World Wide Web, because what it's there for is to bring us together. What they do, of course, is to teach everyone that you've got a worthless opinion, like your asshole, and then attack one another. But no, it's the World Wide Web. So that's what the web is. It's designed to create a bridge over troubled water where we unite with one another, but we hate one another. They're the ones doing it. So you comply with them or you say no. Adolf Hitler powerfully said no. And he talked about this in his speeches. He used this allegory all the time of capitulating. And he said, Germany will not capitulate. And they may kill us, but we're not going down without a fight. Gotta get tough. You got to get up off your knees and you got to fight for what's worth fighting for. And then when you taste victory, then you need the mother, care and compassion, to reach to your enemy, right brain, left brain, and say, come on, let's be one. Let's rise together the same way every single day as friends. That's what you need are friends, not girlfriends having sex, not a spouse creating children. You just need to start by creating some friends in your life. And they'll teach you kindness. So really quickly before we pass it over to Justin, so simply in life, if you woke up every day and just walked, and every person you came across, every scenario that presented itself where you could help, and in a moment, just a lady out the front of her house, she's taking her garbage out of her, and you rush over there 100 miles, you just say, can I help you with that? Can take it to the curb? And, oh, thank you. I just baked something and I would love for you to try. I only drink, oh yes, I'll have a little, I'll have a little bit. And you just make a great friend. And if you did that, if that's all you did every single day, you'd be the wealthiest person in the world. How could you not be? Just serve creation makes you kind man. And that's what you are. You're mankind, womankind and mankind. Justin.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you, Charlie. I really don't have a lot to add to that one. I did want to say that we just had this live stream start, Marie and Lonnie's show start. Yeah, I'm glad that we were able to hop on to this live today. I mean, yeah, that was so well put, and it's truly, that's the full process, and we can't skip the steps. We can't skip the steps and jump. That's what the New Age community likes to push, is this skip to oneness without addressing the ego first and foremost. We do have to step into right action and actually get off our ass and do some things. But ultimately, that's the step where we get to, is we reach out our hand and say, I forgive you. I'm not going to punish you for this. I'm not going to punish you for where we are and what led me to this space. But let's join together and let's create that true unification and recognize that we were here for each other to teach each other very important things, and yeah, just have gratitude for that. It's beautiful.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And then let's show love and respect to Marie and Lonnie. And
Marie's channel.
So Marie Russell. And so we've got, how many have we got? 152 watching right now. So if you're so inclined, that would be lovely if everyone just jumped over and to join Lonnie and Marie. I'm sure that's going to be a wonderful conversation.
Yeah, they're talking about conscious parenting and how to step into that, how to address the truth coming out and things of that nature. So it should be a beautiful conversation. So yeah, make sure to go tune in there and show some support. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, beautiful. So this was just impromptu. Justin's just teaching me once again, because it's been so long, how to be able to quickly do the streams. One of the things that I'm just gonna start randomly doing, because I love it so much, and it shouldn't get me into too much trouble on YouTube, although I guess that's the songs, but is what I'd like to do is just sporadically just do podcasts where I am just the DJ on an FM station. It'll always be 2 a.m. and from 2 to 3 in the morning, and I'll just be playing a few songs, and we'll talk about those. We'll talk about you. We'll talk about life. We'll talk about dreams. We'll talk about solutions, ascension, and it's just going to be so much fun. So it'll just be me Hold up, even if it's the middle of the daytime here, it'll be me holed up inside the tomb for 72 hours. And and we'll share some beautiful gnosis about life through the beautiful songs that are all around us that are teaching us the truth. So get behind me, Satan. Stop ravaging the land. Does it take the children to make you a better man? So with that, we love you, Justin. Thank you so much, buddy, for teaching me all of this again. Beautiful, just beautiful, beautiful thoughts, Justin. And love all of you. That was so great to see you rise so quickly into this impromptu. Ichabod came on late, but we forgive. How could you know? We love you for being here, Ichabod. We love everybody in the chat. You guys are just our family, and we love you so much. And yeah, Marie Russell, Marie and Lonnie, and we'll see you tomorrow, 2:00 Central Standard Time.
This channel.
This channel, and this is the Q&A, because Justin is still being punished for making fun of Charlie Ward. So Justin didn't make fun of Charlie Ward. He just posted somebody
Charlie
else.
Ward makes fun of himself.
Beautiful.